This message has finally found you because the universe is telling you that you're ready for the next step. What you're not changing, you're choosing. So in order to explain this message, I'm going to separate it into two parts. So the first part is that you are going right now in a direction where you're actually trying to avoid the thing that you don't want rather than going for a thing that you do want. So here I want you to imagine that you have a compass. So of course you have north. So north is essentially as your North Star, something that you do want to have in life, go for, right? And meanwhile, south is something that you do not want. So you would be surprised how many people are living in that particular cycle where they are avoiding the part what they don't want to experience in life. So even though it seems that when people are moving towards what they want, meaning going towards their North Star, is the same as avoiding south, but it's actually not true. So this is exactly what is currently happening in your life, that you were living from that perspective, but you're just trying to avoid something that you really don't want. So I want you to be extremely honest with yourself and look into everything that you have in life, not just like one perspective, but essentially what you want to change in life, what you're actually not happy with, where you are avoiding the thing that you don't want to experience, and what you actually do want to experience. And you might find that you never even thought about what you actually want to experience because you've been avoiding the thing that you want to run away from for so long. So to give you an example and to understand this a little bit better, imagine that I am someone who's trying to avoid being broke. So it means that I need at least something that brings money in. Meanwhile, on the other side, we have someone who wants to be wealthy. So even though it seems like, okay, it's like the same thing, it's actually not. So when we take that person who is trying to avoid being broke, we're actually looking into actions that are completely different from a person who wants to be wealthy. So even though they are, for example, these two people are in the same position, doing the same job, but they have those different set goals per se, how they want to navigate this, and one is going north and one is avoiding south. So for example, that first person, for person A, let's say, this is where that person is going to make sure to just have any job just to make sure that it's stable and he has money coming in. Meanwhile, person B, who actually has a North Star, something where he wants wealth. So this is where this person, when he has free time, right, when he actually wants to invest into his, well, when he wants to go into that direction, this is where he's going to have the motivation, that pull towards figuring out and learning new stuff, how to actually build that wealth. So it's naturally a completely different type of mindset that goes behind the actions of those two people, of person A, who is just avoiding to be broke, and person B, who actually wants wealth. So the second part of this message is that you are currently living in a state of indecision. So indecision is something that is currently hurting you the most in your life. Indecision essentially means that you allow something just to be as it is, and you are, for example, even giving the responsibility for that to life, to universe, to other people, to just like, oh, hopefully it's going to work out. So for example, if we're looking into that north and south kind of metaphor that I use, if you're trying to avoid being broke, right? So you're just somewhere lingering around south, but not exactly there, but you are wanting to have more money, so you're staying in the same position and hoping that is going to change. So this is where that indecision comes, that you don't make a decision that, okay, I want it that way and that's it, and I cannot accept anything less than. So this comes to everything that you have currently in your life. So I, yet again, want you to be completely honest with yourself and look into your relationship, look into your finances, look into your lifestyle, look into your health, everything that comes with it. Of course, look into those particular things that are absolutely a priority for you right now, and you know that you have been struggling with that particular part for a long time right now. This is the breaking point. So I want you to see what you have been doing. Have you been avoiding that south, right? Something that you don't want to experience, but you weren't actually going north, and you haven't made the decision to go for the north star, right? So I want you to get clear right now. Universe wants you to get clear right now and just write down, okay, how I want to have everything, how it makes me feel right now, what it is, and just look at it and be okay with judging your current situation. Be okay with accepting the reality as it is right now, because this is the point of awareness. When you're allowed to see what is happening right now, that you're going to be able to see what your North Star is, right? Where you need to go, and you decide. And when you decide, even if you decide that, no, I'm actually okay with where I am and my decision is to stay and do what I'm doing, be aware that this decision is right now conscious, because now you are aware of it, right? So that decision of doing nothing is still choosing it. So even if you're unhappy at that point, when you're like, no, I'm actually okay with it, I know that I don't like it, but I keep it as is. Okay, you took the responsibility, you decided that, okay, you're not going to do anything about that particular thing, and universe is not actually asking for you to start changing absolutely everything and deciding on things. No, you have to also listen to yourself and see what particularly you have to prioritize right now, and not to start changing absolutely everything at the same time, because it's going to be too overwhelming. So compassion has to come in, listening to your inner self absolutely has to come in. And then when you get the clarity, when you see that, no, I absolutely cannot stay where I am because I see that my situation, this what is currently happening right now, is not going to happen, it's not going to change, and my hope has been there for way too long. Start making those decisions. This is what's going to change everything for you. And it's a fact, it's not a theory. And only after you're going to start taking absolute ownership of what you have right now, this is where you're going to get to that next step, that universe, that your inner work has been already guiding you to this point. And right now, it's your choice. Are you going to continue living how you were, or are you actually going to make that choice to switch to your new reality? But it comes down to implementation in your physical reality, with making those decisions and actually being able to be brought to be exposed to that new information that has to be exposed to you. And this is where your path's going to unfold in a million different ways, and you're going to be mind blown how much you haven't seen up until now, up until you made that decision. Because if you're not making the decision, the universe is not going to make that decision for you.